Welcome dear learners to today's lecture on market research and marketing research. In the dynamic world of business, information is the most valuable asset. The ability to gather, analyze and interpret data regarding consumers and competitors often separates successful enterprises from those that fail. Today, we will understand the systematic approach of gathering this intelligence. We will distinguish between the often confused term market research and marketing research, explore their scope and walk through the rigorous 7 steps process of conducting research. This session is designed to equip you with the analytical framework necessary for making informed managerial decisions. Before we begin our detailed exploration, let us outline the learning objective for this session. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to first define market research and articulate its specific purpose and scope. Second, you will able to analyze the specific circumstances that necessitate marketing research. Third, you will able to define market research and understand its broader strategic importance. Fourth, statistically, you will lead the 7 steps involved in market research process from problem identification to report presentation. And finally, you will be able to critically distinguish the theoretical and practical difference between the market research and marketing research. Let us begin with the foundational concept market research. Market research is a crucial element within the broader marketing process. It is primarily concerned with the where and who of selling. It focuses on the complete analysis of market itself. When we conduct market research, we are essentially gathering intelligence on the nature, size and profitability of different markets. It involves tracking changes in market condition, that is the market expanding or contrasting. Furthermore, it integrates the external factors affecting these changes, specifically the economic, social and political forces. For example, how does a change in government policy affect the size of the luxury good market, or how does a social shift towards sustainability affect the market for plastic packaging? Market research answers these environmental questions. Let's see, why do organizations invest heavily in this research? The primary purpose of market research is to gain a deeper understanding of the consumers and a specific marketplace for a product or service. It is a diagnostic tool. Though effective market research, a marketer can judge the strengths and weaknesses of their current offering. This judgment is the foundation upon which future product policies and strategies are designed. A well-defined market research initiative should be able to answer 7 critical questions. Ask yourself, do you exactly know who are your customers are? Do you know where they live beyond demographics? Do you understand when and how they buy? Are they satisfied with what you currently offer? Furthermore, you must look outward. Who are the main competitors? Is your product inferior or superior to theirs? And finally, what strategies are those competitors offering? If a company cannot answer these questions, it is operating blindly. Next, let us see the scope of market research. The scope of market research is vast, covering several specific activities. It starts with the analysis of market size. But this is not just a single number. We break market size down by age, sex, income, profession and the standard of living of the customers. It involves identifying prospective customers, those who are not yet buying but might in future. It also requires a hard look at the competition, specifically estimating their market share. The scope extended to estimating tertiary demand, how much product is needed in the north versus the south. It involves studying market changes and the profitability of different segments. Finally, it analyzes the working of various channels of distribution to ensure the product can actually reach to the customer. So, when should a manager trigger a market research project? It is not something done randomly. It is needed in specific circumstances. First, it is essential when introducing a new product. You cannot launch a product based on a guess. Second, and perhaps most critical, it is needed during a decline in sales. If sales are dropping and you do not know why, research is the diagnostic tool to find the root cause. It is also needed to estimate market demand. to accumulate knowledge on shifting consumer tastes and habits, and to design advertising programs that actually resonate with the target audience. Finally, it is required when studying competitor strategies or when the organization is planning a major shift in its own policies to enhance marketing efforts. Let's briefly recap what we have covered so far. Market research is the specific study of market dynamics, the size, the customer demographics, the competitors, and the external economic forces. It is triggered by needs such as new product launches or declining sales, and its purpose is to provide a factual basis for product strategy. With this specific concept in mind, let us now broaden our horizon to the wider discipline. We now move to marketing research. While it sounds similar, it is a broader concept. Marketing research covers the area of identifying problems and the techniques to solve them. It basically facilitates decision making across the entire marketing spectrum, not just the market size. Let us look at some academic definition to clarify this. Hasty define it as the systematic gathering, recording and analyzing of data about problem relating to the marketing of goods and services. Here note the word systematic. Next one is Salbert and Joseph. Emphasize that it involves gathering, processing, analysis, storage and dissemination of information to improve decision making. Next definition is as per American Marketing Association. It is the function that links the consumer, customer and public to the marketer through information. This information is used to identify opportunities, generate and evaluate marketing actions and monitor performance. In essence, marketing research is the intelligence arm of the business that guides decisions regarding the transfer of goods from producer to consumer. Now, let us see why is this broader discipline so important. First, it enhances the decision making ability of the marketers. Decisions based on data are always superior to decision based on intuition. Second, it sets the tone for getting the right information on customer needs and preferences. It bridges the gap between what the company thinks the customer wants and what the customer actually wants. Third, it is the mechanism for gathering feedback on product satisfaction. Fourth, for entrepreneurs, it sets the right platform for positioning a product in the market. And fifth, it ensures that the right product reaches the right place into the right hand of customer. It optimizes the entire value chain. Conducting market research is rigorous process. It follows a sequence of 7 steps. Let's analyze one by one. Step 1 is identification and defining the problem. This is often the hardest step. The process begins when a company faces a challenge. However, at the outset, we often only see the symptoms like falling sales or customer complaints. The researcher must dig deeper to find the actual problem. Clearly, defining the problem is crucial because research is expensive in terms of time and money. If you define the problem incorrectly, you will waste resources solving the wrong issue. This often requires preliminary investigation, or we say exploratory research, to clarify the issue. Step 2 is statement of research objective. Once the problem is defined, we must state the objectives. These can be qualitative or quantitative. They are often expressed as hypotheses. A hypothesis is a statement that can be supported by data. For example, a hypothesis could be the new packaging pattern has resulted in an increase in sales. The research will then test if this is true or false. Moving to planning phase. Step 3 is planning the research design. This is the master plan. It specifies the procedure for collecting and analyzing information. It represents the framework for action. At this stage, the researcher decides the type of sources needed, the data collection method, will it be a survey or an interview, and the timeline and the final cost. Step 4 is planning the sample. We rarely have the resources to survey every single customer. This is the total population. Therefore, we use sampling. Sampling involves selecting a small number of items to represent the whole. The researcher must answer critical questions. First, who is the target population? Second, who is a representative sample? Third, how large should the sample be to be statistically significant? And how do we select these units to avoid biasness? Step 5 is data collection. This is where the plan goes into action. A data collection relates to the gathering of facts. We generally have two types of data source. First, internal source. These exist within the firms itself, such as accounting records, sales report and customer feedback logs. Second, external sources. These are outside the firm. Furthermore, data is clarified into two categories, secondary data and primary data. Secondary data means information that already exists like government publications, magazines and books, and primary data includes new information collected specifically for this research, though survey or experiment. Once the data is in, we move to the final stages. Step 6 is data processing and analysis. Raw data is useless until processed. This begins with editing, checking forms for omission or legibility. Then comes coding, which is categorizing data into meaningful groups to facilitate tabulation. Ideally, the data is analyzed using statistical techniques to determine consistent pattern. This is where logic is applied to the numbers to find meaning. Step 7 is formulating conclusions and presenting the report. The final stage is interpreting the information to aid managerial decision. The researcher must prepare a report that communicates the findings effectively. It is important to note that management is often not interested in your technical details of statistics. They want the concrete finding and recommendation. The presentation must be accurate, understandable and useful for strategy. Now, let us clarify the distinction between market research and marketing research. This sounds alike, but they are different in concepts. Market research is the narrower term. It focuses on a specific market. It involves researching specific industries. For example, researching the computer industry to discover the number of competitors and their market share is market research. It is basically about where and who. On the other hand, marketing research is the broader term. It goes further. Its aim is to find a solution to a problem or to decide how to use a marketing opportunity. It involves the whole marketing process from product conception to promoting, pricing and distribution. For example, researching how to advertise a product to improve declining sale is marketing research. Think of it this way. Market research is a specific activity within the broader field of marketing research. In conclusion, effective business strategy relies on accurate information. Whether we are conducting specific market research to understand the size and demography of our target audience or engaging in comprehensive marketing research to solve complex problems regarding product, price, place and promotion, the systematic approach is key here. By following these 7 steps from problem definition to reporting, managers can reduce uncertainty and making decisions that drive profitability and growth. Thank you all for your patience listening. See you in the next video.